What a nightmare for the Niner faithful. You know those moments when time just freezes and every fan in the stadium, every person watching at home, just knows something went horribly wrong? That was the scene in Tampa. Fred Warner, the heartbeat of the San Francisco 49ers, the guy who never misses a snap, the definition of consistency, went down in a heap after a freak collision. You could feel it instantly. The air left the building, players dropped to one knee, and the entire place went silent. No trash talk, no celebration, just disbelief. Even the broadcast booth went quiet, which never happens. And for good reason. One look at that replay, and everyone knew. His ankle twisted in a way it just shouldn't, and in that second, the season took a dark turn. It's one of those injuries that hits deeper than just football. It's not about stats or records. It's about the emotional blow of seeing your leader, the guy who embodies everything the team stands for, lying there knowing it's over. Fred Warner isn't just another linebacker. He's the voice, the enforcer, the brain behind every snap of this defense. The type of player who makes everyone around him better, even the veterans. He's the one who gets the huddle calm, makes the pre-snap adjustments, covers tight, ends downfield, then comes back to plug a run up the middle. He's everywhere. And now, the Niners have to figure out how to play without him. The irony? This wasn't even a play that should have happened the way it did. When you go back and look at the film, San Francisco only had 10 defenders on the field. 10. One short. And that makes the whole thing sting even more. Because if that run had been stopped earlier, maybe Warner isn't diving in at that awkward angle. Maybe he walks away fine. But that's football. One miscommunication, one missing player, and everything changes. This team has battled injuries for years under Kyle Shanahan. But this one hits different. Losing Bosa was bad enough, but losing Warner too? That's the soul of your defense gone in back-to-back weeks. And that's what makes the next few games so fascinating and terrifying at the same time. Because now we get to see how deep this team's heart really goes. The defense that once terrified opponents might suddenly become the unit that needs to be carried. Robert Saleh, brilliant as he is, now faces his biggest test. You could be the best defensive mind in the game, but take away your two anchors, one at the line, one in the middle, and there's only so much you can do. The ripple effect is massive. Coverage breakdowns, missed assignments, open zones, all the little things that Fred Warner usually erases before they even happen. You could already see it after he left the field. Tampa Bay averaged more than 7 yards per play once Warner was gone. They were finding space, picking up easy first downs, and that poise the Niners defense always had, gone. What's really tough is that this loss doesn't just hit the defense. It shakes the entire locker room. Fred is the guy everyone looks to, the emotional compass. After the Super Bowl loss, he was the one keeping everyone composed. After a bad practice, he's the first to speak up. Losing him doesn't just remove talent. It removes leadership, energy, and calm. You can replace players, but you can't replace presence. And Warner's presence is irreplaceable. You could feel that in the post-game interviews, players talking about how empty it felt. Christian McCaffrey calling it heartbreaking. Trent Williams describing it as a gut punch. When veterans like that are shaken, you know it's serious. Now, everyone's asking the same question. What do the Niners do from here? Can you actually survive without both Nick Bosa and Fred Warner? That's not just losing 2 starters. That's losing 2 of the top 10 defensive players in the entire league. And with 11 games still to play, it's not like you can just ride it out and hope for the best. Someone has to step up. Tatum Bethune, the 7th-round rookie, came in and filled the spot on Sunday. He's got good instincts, high football IQ, reads plays well, but he's not Fred Warner. Nobody is. He doesn't have that sideline-to-sideline speed, that instant reaction time, that ability to anticipate plays before they happen. But he does play smart, and maybe that's what they'll need right now. Someone who just does their job, keeps it simple, and doesn't try to be a hero. Nick Martin might be another name to watch. 3rd-round pick, high motor, tons of energy. Sometimes too much. He flies around so fast that he takes himself out of position, and that could be a killer at linebacker. But if there's ever a moment to give him a shot, it's now. You don't have the luxury of waiting. It's time to see who's ready and who's not. Because one thing's for sure, The rest of this linebacker group is going to be tested like never before. Dre Greenlaw's gone. Oren Burks is hurt. It's a patchwork unit now, and every mistake is going to be magnified. And while we're talking about patchwork, the defensive line is a shadow of what it once was. Without Boza, that front four has struggled to generate pressure. Opposing quarterbacks have had all day to throw, and that's putting even more strain on a secondary that's already thin. That's why you might see John Lynch make a move. Maybe a trade. Maybe two. There are whispers that San Francisco could make a call to New Orleans about Demario Davis. The Saints are sinking fast, and Davis, even at 36, is still playing at a high level. He's a captain, a tone setter, a veteran who commands respect the moment he walks into the room. He's not Fred Warner, but he's the closest thing available. His run defense grades are elite, his tackling is consistent, and he still covers well enough to hold up in space. And if the Niners are already on the phone with the Saints, why not go all in and ask about Carl Granderson too? Top 10 in sacks this year, young, aggressive, disruptive. That's exactly what the Niners need right now. A spark. Someone who can make a big play, sack the quarterback, flip momentum. Because right now, the team feels flat. You can sense it. The loss to Tampa wasn't embarrassing by any means. The Buccaneers are legit. Baker Mayfield is playing the best football of his career. Their defense is fast and physical, and Todd Bowles might be in the running for Coach of the Year. But what hurts is that the Niners had chances. Multiple chances. Despite all the injuries, despite the emotional gut punch, the game was there to be won. And they couldn't finish. That's what's frustrating. The mistakes, the turnovers, the missed assignments, they all piled up. The offense couldn't protect the quarterback. The defense couldn't get a stop when it mattered. And in key moments, the composure just wasn't there. The offensive line, once again, was exposed. Trent Williams is still solid, but he's not as dominant as he once was. The interior line is a mess. Jake Brendel, Connor McGovern, and Dominic Pooney, they were bullied all afternoon. And it's impossible for any quarterback to operate behind that kind of pressure. Jones was hit on almost every dropback, sacked 6 times, yet still managed to keep the team in it for most of the game. He showed heart. He showed toughness. But when your pocket collapses instantly, when your running back is getting hit in the backfield on every carry, it's only a matter of time before things fall apart. Meanwhile, Tampa's offense was smooth, balanced, and efficient. Even without Mike Evans or Chris Godwin, they moved the ball with ease. That's how good Mayfield has been. He's commanding that offense like a veteran, spreading the ball around, making smart decisions, extending plays when he needs to. He went 17 for 23, 2 touchdowns, no picks, and a passer rating near 140. That's elite-level efficiency. And it's why the Bucs are quietly becoming one of the NFC's most dangerous teams. For San Francisco, it's a reminder that this league doesn't wait for anyone. One week you're a contender, the next you're scrambling to find depth just to survive. And that's where this team stands right now, somewhere between hope and heartbreak. They're 4-2, tied atop the division, still very much alive. But with their 2 best defensive players gone, every win from here on out is going to feel like a climb up a mountain. The road ahead is brutal, but the season isn't lost yet. There's still fight in this group. There has to be. The question now is not just how the 49ers replace Fred Warner on the field, but how they rediscover their identity after such a devastating blow. Every great team eventually faces a stretch where everything goes wrong. Injuries pile up, chemistry feels off, and confidence starts to crack. That's where San Francisco is right now. For the first time in a long while, the defense no longer feels like the safety net that can bail out the offense when things break down. Without Boza's presence on the edge and Warner commanding the middle, there's an uneasiness that's crept in, a hesitation that simply wasn't there before. Players who were used to playing fast are now thinking too much. And in the NFL, thinking for half a second too long usually ends with someone celebrating in the end zone. You could see that hesitation against Tampa Bay. Guys were out of position, communication broke down, and simple plays turned into big gains. That's the kind of chaos Fred Warner used to prevent before it even started. He'd recognize an alignment, shout out a shift, or signal a safety to drop down, and everything would settle. Without him, there's confusion, and that split second of doubt is the difference between a stop for 2 yards and a first down for 15. It's not a knock on the players stepping in. It's just reality. There are some things you can't teach overnight. Leadership like Warner's is learned over years, and his replacements are still learning how to even handle the pressure of being on the field. Offensively, the 49ers aren't helping themselves either. The unit that once scared defenses with motion, timing, and precision has become predictable. Opponents aren't intimidated by San Francisco's run game anymore because the offensive line simply isn't creating lanes. Christian McCaffrey is still electric, still fights for every inch, but there's only so much a running back can do when he's met by defenders the moment he touches the ball. The passing game, led by Jones, shows flashes, but it's constantly under siege. He's been tough as nails, standing tall in collapsing pockets, but no quarterback can thrive when he's sacked 6 times and hit a dozen more. You could see the frustration building. Every time the Niners started to find rhythm, pressure forced them off script. Yet through all of this, there's a strange sense that the season isn't finished. Maybe that's the faith that comes with being a Niner fan. The belief that even when things fall apart, this team somehow finds a way to fight back. It's happened before. When everyone counted them out, they clawed their way into the playoffs and made noise. That's the DNA of this franchise. The resilience, the pride, the refusal to quit. That's what Kyle Shanahan has built, and now it'll be tested more than ever. This isn't just about X's and O's anymore. It's about heart. Who wants to step into the fire? Who's willing to turn frustration into fight? There's talk around the league that John Lynch could pull off another signature move before the trade deadline. He's done it before, mid-season deals that change the entire trajectory of a campaign. Bringing in someone like Demario Davis would make perfect sense. He's a veteran who commands instant respect, a leader who could stabilize the defense and teach the younger linebackers how to survive the grind of a long season. And pairing him with someone like Carl Granderson, a rising pass rusher, could give this team exactly what it needs: energy. That raw, desperate energy that can flip a locker room's mood overnight. Because right now, the Niners don't just need players. They need a jolt, something to remind them that the fight isn't over. The fan base feels it too. You can sense the anxiety across social media, the mix of anger and heartbreak. It's not just disappointment. It's that helpless feeling that comes from watching a promising season suddenly look fragile. But that's also what makes this fan base special. Niner fans have been through it all. The Super Bowl heartbreaks, the injury-plagued years, the near misses, and they still show up. They still believe. Maybe that's why this moment hurts so much. Because before Warner went down, it really felt like this could be the year. The team was clicking. The offense had balance. The defense was dominant. And everything was pointing toward another deep postseason run. Now, all of that feels uncertain. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to 49ers Zone and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the San Francisco 49ers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. The NFL world is buzzing this morning after shocking remarks from San Francisco 49ers head coach Kyle Shanahan regarding wide receiver DEEBO Samuel. In what insiders are calling an unprecedented outburst, Shanahan reportedly told team personnel, "I'm not playing with him anymore," sending shockwaves through the league and igniting speculation about Samuel's future in San Francisco. While the 49ers have yet to release an official statement, sources close to the organization suggest tensions between Shanahan and Samuel have been simmering for weeks. Analysts point to the duo's rocky history of creative differences on the field, particularly concerning Samuel's usage in both rushing and receiving roles. Shanahan, known for his meticulous offensive schemes, has reportedly grown frustrated with what he perceives as Samuel's reluctance to fully embrace his role within the system. This revelation comes just weeks after Samuel delivered another strong statistical season, leading many to question whether this is a conflict of ego rather than performance. DEEBO is a top-tier talent, one unnamed team insider said, but Kyle wants absolute control over every play. That dynamic has always been tricky. The comment has ignited speculation about a potential trade or even a full-blown standoff if the tension cannot be resolved. Social media has erupted with reactions from fans and pundits alike. Some argue that Shanahan's blunt declaration could signal the end of an era in San Francisco, while others believe it may be a negotiating tactic to pressure Samuel or his representatives into compliance. Either way, the NFL rumor mill is spinning faster than ever, with teams already reportedly eyeing the star receiver. If this situation escalates, the implications for the 49ers' offense could be profound. Samuel has been a cornerstone of their offensive attack. His ability to turn short passes into long gains and his versatility in the backfield, making him nearly irreplaceable. Losing him would force Shanahan to pivot and potentially disrupt the chemistry that propelled San Francisco to recent playoff success. For now, the league is left in suspense. Will DEEBO Samuel stay, or is this the beginning of a dramatic exit? One thing is certain. The Shanahan-Samuel saga has captured the attention of football fans everywhere, and the fallout promises to dominate headlines for weeks to come. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the San Francisco 49ers, make sure to subscribe to 49ers Zone and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.